The word is beautiful chaos. I'm just going to open up this message and we're going to be setting up together. But let me go ahead and tell you what came through. Okay, so there's this song and I'm sure we all know it. And it's from Dora the Explorer. By the way, Dora in etymology means the gift. So I'm seeing it as, oh my God, the gift of exploring. And it reminds me of a reading that I did way back in the day. So we'll probably swipe up some notes on that in the end. But the word or song is backpack, 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 backpack. And this is something that you're carrying in your inventory when it comes to your souls. I'm seeing fruition in the tangible realm. So this is how things are going to accumulate or culminate from knowledge that I'm seeing harvested within and you're now sharing with the world. Anyway, I was seeing it as this inner child exploration, like the soul's exploration in this lifetime. I was going to put on an ND filter, but let me take you with me real quick. What shall we choose? Is that good? We're not too dark. I just want to make sure it's not too light. You guys let me know. Does that look better or the original? Anyway, I'm really excited for this message. All right, I'm really excited for this message because of the nature of what came out. Because you, Earth Angel. You Earth Angel. Do you know the magical being that you are? And I'm hearing the magic that you're returning back to. Let me see if I can connect this. It's beautiful chaos. You could feel like there's beautiful chaos I'm seeing in the playground of experience. And I'm seeing Spirit showing me this switch where you're kind of flipping or switching or shifting the frame and how you're viewing your life experiences and holding two truths within the palms of your hand simultaneously. And I'm seeing that's the shadow aspects and also the light aspects of this realm, understanding that they are one of the same nature but different expressions, because not everything has to look like light for it to be light. And the message that came through was, all right, this inner child exploration, you are creating safety within the body once again, so that the soul finally feels safe enough to play, to experience. I'm hearing to experiment. So you could feel like, you know, you're part of this grand experiment. If you know, then you know would be my message. And let me go ahead and catch you up to speed with what came out, right? So binary star talks about something that has always been transversing your path, and it's stars in perfect harmony. I'll read it for you in a second and you'll see why I'm so hyped. Then you have the spiral, which talks about a vicious or virtuous cycle. There's something that you're coming back to with the cosmic network. It reminds me of the morphic field, which stores the living memory of your timeless consciousness, streamlining itself temporarily through this carbon-based life form. And there is so much beauty in utilizing, I'm hearing the word synchronization. So there's something that you're syncing to your vessel, but it reminds me of syncing to information that already exists within the field that has lain dormant up until now. There are certain things that you're becoming aware of that are activating within your life experiences. I'm seeing that awareness is also activating new timelines of opportunities, people, and experiences for you. Now, this is why I call you an Earth Angel. And I'm going to read this beautiful energy. Maybe I should read this first. Let me read this for you. So there is this doctor. Okay, wait. Let me explain this first. I wrote this thing when I was at the beach the other day, and there was this kid and he was building this sandcastle so close to the water, and my first thought was, oh no, he's building this sandcastle and then the waves are going to wash it away. But this kid was having so much fun doing it, and I'm seeing this as how your soul experiences the physical realm, where you're allowing something to just wash away or burn to the ground for the pure I'm hearing freedom and expression, but for the pure purpose of experience itself, because that's the privilege that you have in this dimension that no other dimension offers us, which is the journey or culmination of your choices and how that creates, how that allows you to access a continuum or journey that's available for you in the field. And there are infinite one of these, totally dependent on how you choose to move or navigate the system. Life is like a game of chess. There are an intricate number of complex moves that you can make, but there's something around strategizing that's coming up in your field. some type of strategy, or I'm seeing getting back to basics, looking at the foundation, looking at the fundamentals. Now, I want to read you this, all right? It's so profound. It's like building something without attachment. That was also the message that came through with the kid building the sandcastle. He didn't care how many times the wave came in. He was doing it for just pure creation. He wasn't attaching to the things that he was creating. And I'm seeing when you create from this space, the energy is so magnetic. The energy is so, highly conducive, because the thing that you create takes on the expression of your soul and its highest possible expression. And people feel that, whoever intersects with that, it's felt. So listen to this. There is this doctor called Dr. 𝓪𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓬, and he says that we have to be aware of ourselves as an interactive element of this inspired quantum field evolving ever more towards cosmos, towards coherence, and towards oneness. Akasha is the deep dimension, a dimension beyond space and time. It underlies all things. It's not reducible to any of those things. He also spoke about getting overwhelmed sometimes by the infinite potentials, but instead focus your action towards what it is that you can do now, how you can anchor your future through the incremental steps that you take on a daily basis. I'm hearing, how are you creating as the architect? How are you shaping and carving out your own destiny? We will experience the journey of those choices. So it's all about small anchors. Then he says this: it's a comforting recognition that we are not little passive mechanical pawns and a large chessboard, but instead we're integral elements of a larger system, which is alive, which is moving. The entire universe is that larger system, but it expresses itself on this planet as life. This includes you, my love. And we carry that expression into new heights. There is love, there is life within all dimensions. We are an expression of that. So we are consciousness collapsed into form, manifested by the natural laws of this third dimension. That's why we have a carbon-based alpha vessel. And so I'm hearing it's easy to believe that you're limited or localized or subject to this dimension and this dimension only, when in truth you are multidimensional and exist and play and create in multiple dimensions simultaneously. And so there is beauty in this dimensionally limited avatar, for it becomes a mere conduit and divinely tuned instrument to grant you access into experiencing the full totality of space-time, of the realm of space-time. And we can carry that expression into new heights if we only act in recognition of what we are, of who we are, of who you have always been. Okay, you have always been. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read these two messages because you, Archangel, you, okay? Listen to this. My God. First of all, you have the Merkaba body. And with the Merkaba, the thing is with this message, as you can see, the apex of the star is pointed away from the material plane. And it's pointed towards the immaterial. It's pointed towards the quantum, the infinite, the formless. I'm hearing the plane in which you originate from, which transcends and extends and branches far beyond this matrix system. Now, if you can anchor in that higher level of awareness into your exchanges, because that lucidity becomes an ongoing state of, I'm hearing, recognition for what you are, for what everyone else is. The frameworks of how you're viewing reality is constantly being adjusted, because it can be easy to fall asleep here, right? But what is your dominant subconscious core belief systems about life on Earth and about, I'm hearing, all beings that move through this dimension and occupy, that you exchange and interact with as an interactive element? You're not separate from the whole, and nothing is separate from the whole, because we are all an expression that emerges from this light, and it's what it is that we will return back to. But if we can remember that inside of the game, yeah, we can see divinity in all things, because all beings are fractals of infinite potential. And sometimes we understand the belief systems or profound suffering that another, fellow human is experiencing. And those belief systems obstruct the way that this divine being sees itself. I'm hearing, how can it recognize its own power? And so I see many of you becoming that embodiment, serving as that reminder, and reflecting that potential back to those around you. So anyway, this talks about you coming back into alignment with your pre-incarnation intentions, all right? Coming back into alignment with your cosmic origins. Prolonged embodiment inside of this human, dense, physical vehicle can lead to us falling into this, spiritual amnesia, which is to forget yourself as a spiritual being having a human experience, and instead solely identify yourself with the material plane, when innately you are far more. I'm hearing, don't cut yourself off from those vast portions of your potential. You are far greater than that. You extend far beyond this realm. All right, so through our soul star, we access information and wisdom like a computer connecting to the internet through broadband. Instead of having to move through the dimensions to access the information, we can remain connected at all times and download support as necessary. So these are energetic portals to hidden realms that can help us remember our story origins and open up psychic vision and connect directly to the wisdom that's held within the stars. So it's Horus energy. What is Horus? He's a fractal of awareness. It's the binary code, is the first one that breaks off from the zero. That awareness anchors into the system. You, as a fractal of infinite potential, descended into human form and then became conscious of itself inside of the system. You began asking questions that many of us don't ask. You began seeing layers of this reality that not everyone remembers just yet. Not everyone can see, because many of us are focused on what it is that we're looking at. So I'm seeing you're seeing beyond ordinary perception. And once consciousness becomes aware of itself, it begins to behave very, very differently. You wake up inside of the game and you're now playing by an instruction manual that doesn't originate from here. I'm hearing that's something that you're downloading from the stream. So there's something around that Wi-Fi signal. Anyway, so through your previous journeys, you've learned much about the inner workings of your soul and about the cycles of karma. Before this incarnation, you set a powerful intention to remember your divine origins. At this point, you're in a powerful space where you are remembering who you truly are, and you know that you have it within you to make a great difference in your own life and the lives of those that you love, and of course, the world. This remembering is in alignment with the soul contracts you made before coming to this realm. So if you find yourself worrying if you're making the right decisions, know that even if you aren't conscious of it, all that you have chosen so far is in accordance with your soul's evolutionary plan. And when you draw this gateway, you're opening up on higher levels. I'm hearing, what are you calling into your experience? What are you calling into your experience? Because there's something around. Let's see what's coming through. What are you calling into your experience? Because everything serves as a mirror. I'm hearing one force. It's so interesting because I'm being shown the lattice. So there are individual nodes that we serve as. I'm seeing almost like a pillar. When you stand in this remembrance and you roam this earth, anchored in that awareness, you send out this signal and it creates these connecting dots. I'm seeing like connect the dots that forms this lattice or a network being established. And it's not even what you're calling in. It feels like something that you're connecting to within the field. And many of you know, it does feel like almost internal synapses being formed in the brain through something you're reinforcing. I'm seeing every time you come back to yourself, every time you train your attention to come back to, oh, I'm spirit navigating matter. And you train that lucidity, There's something from this state of coherence, what it is that you're drawing in or connecting to, that exists in infinite potential. is able to become accessed within the field. I'm hearing the longer that you sustain this as well, the longer that you sustain this signal, the quicker the collapse. And many of us are experiencing this in our reality. So then you have Archangel. So this could be the gift of your voice. It could be the gift of just you. Seraphim's Gateway, this is wings of multidimensional memory. All right, that's what this is. These are beings, all right, and the message is all about spiritual duty. They don't operate in a linear way. You're blessed to receive the light of the Seraphim. Know that these beings of infinite light are singing your name in the heavens to unlock the power of your own voice. Angelic support surrounds you at this time, so know that you're safe, for you're being held by the presence of love. The Seraphim are witnessing the glory of your being and activating your angelic qualities. You care deeply about the welfare of this planet and all of her beings. In fact, you're hoping to make a great difference in the world. And the reason for this is that you're carrying angelic light. Let it shine on the world around you. I'm hearing the angelic ones. I'm seeing this as the Merkaba body, which is light seated inside of a vehicle. And that light folds back in on itself. There's something around neutralizing your relationship with the matrix itself and zooming out enough to understand the universe that we have all created to experience life through. And there becomes this element of play. There is this element of play that's unlocking. Let me get my downloads up about Dora real quick, because Dora came through, and then I'll post some more messages around this. But I did this message a couple years ago. Dora, I have Pandora's box, opening Pandora's box. Oh, right. Let me read this first of all. 15th of August, 2024 could be significant for someone. I said, you opened Pandora's box and saw the real them. You cannot explain this. You cannot expect this dream ally to behave, to go against its natural design. It serves a purpose within the construct of this reality. So again, this is a dimension that's built up, and I'm hearing sustains itself up of contrast. If there was no contrast in the third dimension, then it would cease to exist. We wouldn't be able to participate in this beautiful realm. And so there is a paradox. Anyway, I said that you cannot face a twister, right, which is this tornado, and convince it not to seek to destroy. I'm seeing this as larger systems at hand. This really reminds you of you have one lunar cycle to prepare for this. So we're in that timeline right now. We're in that 6th month period. I'll link that down below. Remind me if I don't, but it's the Gemini new moon to full moon reading that I did. I think it was 24th of November, 26th. I need to double check that. Anyway, you cannot face a twister and convince it not to seek to destroy. You will not realize that it serves no other purpose but to consume you. That chaos seeks company, and you will get swept up in the full cyclone if you stick around for too long. You'll be running away with your life, having to accept it for what it is. The beautiful lesson you run away with after engaging with this particular gatekeeper, which serves as a puzzle piece, is that you can now recognize its energy signature when it presents itself to you. Hiding behind a different face, maybe another time, maybe another place. The early red flags and warning signs that you had overlooked as your angel eyes saw the good in the devil. How it was disguised behind a pretty smile, lying through its teeth with sinister intentions that lurk beneath. This became a poem. You can recognize the behavior, you can feel something forming. It's often a feeling. First, it is the calm before the storm, giving the illusion of safety. But then it's sudden inconsistencies and the weather pattern that excites you. Turbulence that begins to occur in your life, churning the winds inside of you. The unpredictable nature that alerts you. Is it butterflies you're feeling, or your soul warning you of the inevitable tragedy that it's about to occur? Like animals when they run away before a natural disaster is about to strike. They remove themselves while they still have the option to exit this situation gracefully. Can you listen to your instincts and do the same? Or will you stick around for this dream ally to inflict more pain? On the road to death, destruction it causes, the path of spiritual and moral decay. Okay, I would stop naturally, but I'm hearing someone needs to hear this message, so I'm going to keep going. This was like something that I channeled a few years ago, back in 24. And the reason I'm going to keep going is because I'm hearing something that you can resonate with in your past experiences, or some of you are currently going through this. And again, everything is playing its role, everything is playing its part. You've now unconsciously consented to becoming a storm chaser, when really you're seeking to return to the blissful calm before the storm. And instead are faced with the destruction the storm caused as it passes by. Now biochemically addicted, you find yourself seeking that next thrill, that next high. Sucked up and spat by the storm, feeling rejected, looking for a home so you can be accepted. Much like Alice going down the rabbit hole, getting curiouser and curiouser, stuck in the illusions of Wonderland, that in order to fit in, you have to make yourself small, to be accepted in a world that you're not meant to be in at all. As you make yourself bigger, you find yourself ridiculed. As it's others, you begin to trigger. The aftermath of being swallowed up and rejected by Wonderland is you release the fantasy of what could be. You flee and return with new eyes to what you were always meant to see. Suddenly your life wasn't so boring after all. Now you can finally stand proud to be torn. That was a poem that I wrote a couple years ago. And I feel like the main takeaway from this is everything is light, and it doesn't have to look like light for it to be light. Everything was born from light. Lucifer, the devil, the shadow realms within you and within our fellow humans. We learn to coexist with that dark and light aspect of ourselves. And, there was a message that was coming through. What have you been teaching yourself through everything around you? What have you been teaching yourself through all beings around you? Because you can see it as, this is me versus you, and we've been in this battlefield. Or you can see it as, what have I been inviting myself to do through another version of me? Both. I'm hearing this is the difference between karmic cycles, experiencing it as vicious cycles, or experiencing it as a virtuous cycle. Both beings come to the same conclusion, which is a level of wisdom that you can extract from these experiences. Yet one learns it through profound suffering, while the other, I'm hearing, is liberated inside of the experience. And there's something that you need to hear when it comes to that beautiful chaos. Let me see. This was a Pandora's box reading, and it was asteroid 55. In the realm of astrology, the asteroid Pandora 55 holds a captivating position, symbolizing curiosity, opening up to new experiences, and the potential for both blessings and challenges. Just like the mythical Pandora who opened the infamous box, this asteroid represents the act of venturing into the unknown, embracing its possibilities and learning from its consequences. It reminds me of bigger systems within this construct. And again, anything that has sustained itself on the illusion of separation. This is the main takeaway from the Pandora energy. And it's nevertheless, discipline control over these impulses can be beneficial to our attributes and self-development. I see this as what's guiding your experience, the unconscious or the conscious. Are you consciously creating inside of the system, or just following through with unconscious repetition? Is it the lower mind, where you're moving through the system as separation, in separation, believing that you're separate from everything, including your own divinity? Or do you recognize and remember yourself as the divine being and everything else playing its role perfectly? It's an intricate design, and when we step back far enough, we can admire the beauty in which we've all created. And I'm sure many of us are at this place. What was I looking for in the beginning? Not Pandora's box. All right. This was the Dora the Explorer. So Dora is the gift, and I wrote that the gift was to explore. 11th of June could be significant for you. That's like 2024 as well. What you carry in your backpack is similar to an identity that you've been carrying. All right, I'm seeing it's like it's an identity that the soul has been carrying or lugging with them. And it could feel like a burden at this point. I'm hearing to continue living up to that role or that shell in which you've created as maybe a survival mechanism. And how good does it feel? I'm hearing to let your skin breathe. I'm seeing like a light being just take their skin off. And that skin could be the character in many ways. I'm just seeing something like that happen where it's, it feels so good to breathe. It feels so good to recognize myself beyond I'm hearing the density. Backpacks, I also spoke about being associated with the past in this message and unfinished business. So if you've been carrying a burden of unfinished business and that's been on your shoulder, it's been proving to be heavy. Then I said the map was offering you a invitation, right? I'm the map. So the map represents guidance or direction and also a sense of purpose. So that could be, I'm hearing the guiding force, the eternal light within you that's guiding these next steps moving forth. And it reminds me, Spirit's showing me an astral travel message that I had a few years ago. And it was for Aquarius. This is bringing me back to the North Node entering into Aquarius, which is how we of service beyond ourselves. What are we contributing as sovereign beings towards the collective timelines? Because it's the power that you hold within your hand, the power that you hold within the palm of your hands. What decisions are you making daily, not just within your own life, but how is that contributing towards the collective timelines? Because when you make decisions that empower you and feel in alignment with your soul's highest expression on a day-to-day basis, that bleeds into the collective. You're participating in that contribution. Yeah, so it also could be a desire for exploration and adventure, a journey you can go on within to be taken to new places without. Yeah, that could be a connection. I also said that could be to a relationship or a change, but some type of pathway that you're being called to take in life. And then I also spoke about Boots. If you guys know Boots, that's the monkey. And I said that he's like a spirit guide. And that could be you getting more grounded, just taking natural earthy steps towards the direction to actualize your aspirations. And I see that happening. You're beginning to take care of yourself as well. Oh, I'm seeing Swiper. You know Swiper? Swiper, stop swiping, the fox. I'm seeing this as our tendency to self-sabotage. So swiper, no swiping, I spoke about as enforcing a boundary. I'm seeing that as the unconscious fear. Swiper is very fast and agile and something of a master of disguise. I said that he relies on his ability to kind of sneak up, but your intuition, and I'm hearing the higher intelligence, can hold space for how this dream ally behaves and understanding the role that it plays. And it's designed to protect us, and it's doing the best with the level of awareness that it has. So I'm seeing it as hold space for your fear, but become greater than it and recognize it as not just your whole, but just a very small localized aspect of you. I'm hearing that can only see so far. So trust what it is that you can see that goes beyond that. So interesting, because I feel like I'm revisiting this message so many years later. Well, I guess it's like 3 years later, 2 to 3 years. And because I feel like I wrote this in 23. Anyway, it's octaves within you. That's what I'm realizing. Anyway, that was the main message for it. So I'm going to trust that it's going to meet you exactly as it needs to, exactly as it's designed to. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Should we get one Shaman's Dream Oracle message? Does that sound like a good idea? Let's see. Wailing Tree Reconciliation. So this could be prominent in your field. This talks about the power of forgiveness, releasing shame as well on this path. Who you've had to be. Nothing really matters from your point of remembering. Anything that happened before that or prior to that was part of that journey. It contributed towards that journey. So now that you're reconciled the game, what do you want to choose to do from this point moving forward? Because it feels like you're having a new lifetime within this lifetime alone. 59. After this, I'm going to go because I kind of want to go on live with you. All right. Grief and mourning, a time of necessary losses, reconciliation. When you encounter the waiting tree on your path, it's an invitation to stay for a while and regroup, a place for you to rest and allow yourself to say goodbye to what no longer serves. I'm actually seeing this as not just external factors in your life, your connections to things, people, places. I'm hearing occupations. It's more about, I'm hearing also what has been occupying space within your field. And that could just be thoughts that are not highly conducive or supportive for your journey moving onwards. I'm hearing beyond certain things. And this is what you're evolving beyond. You're also evolving beyond previous identities that were created as fragmentations of your whole self, designed to keep you safe. I'm seeing something that you're mourning when it comes to what used to guide your life. And that could be fair. And you'll recognize when that happens, you won't really go anywhere at all. You'll kind of experience the same things on repeat. So I'm seeing a point of divergence around, okay, you're my guide up until now, right? The version of you that operates from survival. You've been my guide up until now. And you've taken me here. It kind of reminds me of Dr. Strange in the Wise One, where she says, you cannot beat a river into submission. You must surrender to its current and use its power as your own. Your intellect has taken you so far, but it will take you no farther. There's that type of energy of how you're being guided moving forth. So when you encounter this tree, it says you must have been overdoing things, working too hard or putting too much effort into your life with little reward. If you've been considering making a change, now's the time to do so. One important thing to consider before you make any changes is that you need to allow yourself to feel your disappointment, your loss, and mourn what was and what could not be. This is a way to honor your experience and give yourself the time to consider all the gifts in it, to put proper closure on it, to really know what you've learned as you walk away from it and into something new. Even in the perception of failure, there is so much good to be discovered. The beautiful thing is this isn't you walking away from that aspect. It's you taking its hand and beckoning it to come and safely learn more. And you're like, you know what? This is what life could look like moving forward from this moment. And let me show you the way. It's that type of energy. I'm hearing you're guiding yourself into the counterpart earth, back into a dimensional layer of this reality that has always been accessible in the field, but awaiting for you to explore what was always readily available for you. That's what this says. In fact, you'll discover that at some point you have to come back. So do it all now. Look at squarely and honestly and stay with your feelings. Life is not either or, both this and that. So as you dive in and process this, allow it to become a temporary travel companion on your journey. The feelings that this will bring to the surface will be challenging for sure. Yet, like all things, they will pass soon enough and you'll become more enriched by the experience. Yeah. Beneath the distortion and the conditioning, there is this highly intelligent, divine, fluid, formless, detached, observant being. Has always been observing. And that observer has been greater than any experience that's unfolded before you and the experience that's yet to unfold on your life journey. So I'm seeing it as be seated in the eye of the observer, to stand in the eye of the storm and watch the refinement period or process that you're undergoing. And I'm seeing everything around you undergoing, things adjusting in your reality. But I'm seeing something click, 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 click into place. That's what it is. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you right there, my love. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. Also check out Autospray if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade gemstones. You have 2 discount codes for that in the description box. And until next time, bye.